2 weeks before turnover is when surprises show up. In today's video, I'll show real costs as we prepare to outfit the home and some planning as far as picking out the appliances and things we're going to need. I've also got an initial kitchen design that I'm working with the kitchen contractor on, and I'm really happy with the way that we've looked at this. I want to show you some of the inspiration that we took actually from the model home of the next version of this home being built in the future 3 years from now. There's actually a model home for the next complex that's not available. It's not going to be finished building for 3 years. So we took some of the inspiration from there and then we customized the design, and I think you'll find it interesting. So I want to walk you through that. It's not final. We're still making changes to it, but I really like kind of the initial looks. I kind of want to show you where we're at with that. I'll also cover an update as to what's been fixed around here. And it's a funny process because they fixed a lot of things, but they don't tell us. And finally, there's one concern I'm not convinced is actually resolved. And that's where we're going to start today. Look at this crack. It's like a significant settling crack in the ceiling just outside the living room area in front of the hallway bathroom. They have since repaired it since I took the shot, but I'm concerned. Why is there so much settling in this home? Am I buying the right house? Are there other problems that I'm not aware of? This is not just a house. This is my house, and I want this to be right. They are making progress, though. So let me walk you through some of the improvements so far. All right, we're doing a quick update here. It is Friday, April 10th. We're 2 weeks before turnover, and they're making progress. They're not done yet, but they're making progress. Let's take a look. So they've been working on the outside, and they did repair this design piece that we had pushed off the wall. And so now it's flush, so they fixed that. You can see they've done repairs to these, I'm going to call them soffits or eaves, but it's a very thin, it might be wood and fiber, but they had cracks in it, and so they've been repairing that. They repaired them all the way down. You can see the lines all the way down. They repaired the cracks on the outside up there. They put a cover on this aircon hole. That one still needs it way down there. But they're making progress. Let's look on the back here because there was quite a bit of work to be done. So you can see here they've repaired all this wood. This is the big one. These were really separated, so they spent some time putting this back. They still got some cracks there, but it is much better than what it was before. They also fixed these pipes. I'll show that like before and after, but it was missing this vent pipe. So it's kind of interesting. Instead of going up to the roof like we do in the States, they go up here underneath the eave. And it was missing this downspout from the gutter. One of the things that I might do is when you look at these gutters, they're open. You know, for us it may not be a big issue, but if you have trees like the one on this side, you know, the leaves are going to drop in there and it'll immediately block up the gutter. So I might put like a plastic mesh in there to kind of keep the leaves from dropping down. But every once in a while that's going to have to be cleaned out. But you can see the back of the house here is greatly improved from what it was. So they've been working. That's great. I felt like at first it was going slow, but they're kind of picking up the pace now. Probably realized they've got 2 weeks. So it looks like most of the exterior has been painted or will be painted. It's in process. All right, working ourselves around to the side. So Same kind of repairs up here in these soffits. That's important because they were very separated. See all the work they've done here, preparing this. Oh, they're getting there. All right, let's go inside. It's cute. I gotta say, I'm getting excited. So, I know it's just a little house, but it's cute. All right, let's see what they're doing in here. Not too much, maybe a little painting. They definitely have sealed some of the cracks. We're looking in the kitchen here. We're getting a guy come up today to measure all the kitchen to do an interior design for the kitchen. And I'm probably going to do the bathrooms too. They're so plain, you know. Oh, they've definitely worked on this one. So remember before, this is the center bathroom when you first come out of the living room. Let me just show you the living room to get a perspective. So here's the living room, and here's the bathroom, and the ceiling had a really big separation crack. So that's looking much better. Still got to resolve the drain issues. No, that hasn't been fixed yet. See in this room, this is the guest room. Not too much, maybe a little patch and repair. Looks like at my office. Well, they were working on this wall. That's good. Yeah, a little bit of patchwork, and then in the master, doesn't look like much has changed here. A few patches. They did fix this crack on the window. There was a pretty big one before. And then they've done this on the ceiling. And then some patchwork here, so they're making progress. Yeah, it'll be cute. You guys wait to see what we do with this, because we have some ideas. So next step is on Monday, it says Friday, we have a meeting with the kind of site engineer. I want to go through the settling cracks, the warranty. I talked to the main person in charge and saying I've got some concerns. I want to make sure that this home is got a very strong warranty, so if it happens again, they fix it. I just met with a kitchen contractor who can do the full interior design of the home. It's primarily in the kitchen area. I'd like to put in custom cabinets. I'd like to do an island with like 3 stools so that it's part of the front of the kitchen and just kind of a nice place to have breakfast and interact with people. And then he's going to do some design elements for me to make it a little bit more custom and a little bit more homey. So we just spent the last hour together going through the possibilities. And then I walked them through the model home so they can see exactly what they did and how they put together the island and the kitchen. And we have this idea of maybe doing some custom lighting, maybe adding a soffit or something like that with LEDs to give it some impact. But we'll see. We'll see what that quote comes in at. He's putting it together now. But when it comes to the rest of like what I call outfitting the property, there are several appliances that you need to get. Again, the house comes with nothing. There's no air conditioner. They have a lot of those over here. In my case, there's going to be one main air conditioner for the main kitchen and family room / living room area. I'm going to overpower it on purpose with the idea to push the airflow towards the bedrooms. But my hope is that I can leave the bedroom doors open and I won't have to run the air cons in the individual rooms. Now, I will still do a split aircon with an inverter, gets the best performance, it's quiet and best energy spend, a lot cheaper to run those. I will still put a small unit, probably 1.5 horsepower, in each of the bedrooms. But I'm going to do a full 3 horsepower unit for the main room. So the air conditioning is like the first thing I want to go in because it's summer here now. Summer actually starts at the beginning of April. April, May, June, it gets hot over here. A couple of degrees more than the rest of the year. So the first thing I want, since the turnover is literally 2 weeks from today, I want the aircon to be put in as soon as they give me the keys. So we'll start there because it just makes it a lot easier to be inside and to be able to work on things. But a couple of things that we need to do, you have to add the refrigerator. And since our refrigerator is so small that we currently have where we rent, and our food only lasts a few days, and then we got to go back to the grocery store because like the freezer will only fit so much space, we're going to oversize our refrigerator on purpose. So we're going to put in a big refrigerator, and this is the one that we're looking at from Samsung. We've picked out a cooktop, an oven, and I think we're going to do this water dispenser. I got to figure out where we're going to put it, but it will give us instant hot water, which would be kind of cool, or instant cold water. You drink a lot more water over here just because of the heat and the humidity, so it's kind of nice to have something like this. I know it was important for Lynn to have that. So, you need your basics, right? Your oven, your stove, your refrigerator, a microwave, over here a rice cooker. The houses here are smaller, the kitchens are smaller, so you really got to optimize what you need and what you don't need. And I think after talking to the contractor today, I'm going to put the kitchen cabinets all the way up to the ceiling. Now, it's not like I can reach up there, but if I can get a step stool, that'll give me extra storage space. So I think we'll maximize this height here in the kitchen and then create some extra storage. So that'll be nice. Now I'm trying to figure out the timing of everything because I even have a big screen TV on order. But the interior designer or contractor, combination of both, he's going to actually do a certain design element to the wall where the TV is going to go, and then they'll install the TV itself. So I'll probably just get it on a stand. I'm looking at a TCL 75-inch. It's got this new technology called mini LEDs, and it's like super colorful, super bright, looks really, really nice. So I'm going to go with that particular model. And then what I'm going to do is put a Sony sound bar with subwoofers and a bass so that when we watch movies, you kind of get that kind of theater experience. The kitchen contractor is saying it's going to take about 3 weeks to do everything that I want him to do. And so we will probably continue to be in our rental for a little bit longer so that we're not living in the dust, but we'll see how all of that works out. So what should we kind of expect with 2 weeks to go? Well, they're going to do the final painting especially. They're doing a lot of painting on the outside. Now they need to come back and do the inside. Again, we're going to replace the existing kitchen faucet and cabinets. This is just pressboard cheap stuff. I want to replace the faucets. They're very builder grade, very low end. And so there's some upgrades like that, but that can't really happen until after they turn over the property. I can't go in there with my contractor to do anything until I sign off and actually take possession, even though I paid for the property in cash a week ago. All right, looks like they're making some progress. Painting some here, especially on the outside, and it looks like they started fixing these panels, which is one of my biggest concerns. So you can kind of see the line there where they did a repair, that one, and then they replaced these pipes which were missing before, so at least that's there. And then they've done some more work here where they've been prepping some of the cracks and the settling from the house sitting here empty for a couple of years. Best I can tell, it's about 2 to 3 years old. Never been lived in. And as you can see, they're patching up all of these cracks and these wooden eaves. It's almost like a very thin piece of wood. I was going to say plywood, but it's actually too thin for that. It's almost like a facade. So they've been patching up all these cracks. The question is, you know, is it going to hold? Or is it just going to come back, which is my guess. So we're going to have to talk to them about a warranty on the property and for how long. But they are addressing a lot of these crack issues. Let's continue around the house. They have been working, which is great. Another angle here. I'm just concerned that these cracks are going to come back, that something's going on with how the house is settled. You know, you look at the bottom, nothing obvious to me, other than there's been some recent repairs along here. That's interesting. You notice this lot's a little bit lower than that lot. That was built up on fill or something. All right, let's keep going here. They did reattach this piece. If you remember from the prior video, that was detached from the home. So they did fix that. Looks like they've done some touch-up work on these eaves too. So that's good. Definitely have been working on it. There's the rest of the front. And as you can see, they've been up on ladders making repairs. So when it does turn over, there are some final expenses. In my case, it's not much. It's about 25,000 pesos to pay, a combination of the first 2 years of property taxes and a couple other things that they need, but you do have a final little bill there. You do a visual inspection at the end in 2 weeks, and they go through and do like an orientation to the neighborhood and the home and all that. And then, you know, you basically get your final acceptance. They give you a certificate about 3 days before the close in order to go to the electric company. In my case, it's Bohol. I'll give it to them and then give them 3 days to turn on the power. The water's already on. The water's actually paid. For some reason, it goes through the homeowners association. So when I have to pay the 1,200 pesos per month for the homeowners dues, which is divided by 60 is 20 bucks. That one I can do off the top of my head. But it's not much, right? 20 bucks for your HOA. There's a swimming pool. There's a small gym. There's an outdoor clubhouse with a roof. So, and there's like a park area. So it's actually not too bad. But your water bill's included in that. And right now, and the one I'm renting, it's only like 600 pesos a month, right? So, you know, that's not much. 10 bucks US right now. So the expenses aren't a lot, and that's my plan. My plan is to stop paying rent, even though the rent's very affordable here, and then have this place built out the way I want it, and I've got my final kind of home over here. And then I'm able to lock the door and travel because it's got the guard gate with 3 or 4 guards all the time, 24/7. Well, in the end here, they are resolving a lot of these issues that looked a lot worse, you know, a week or two ago. But we'll have to confirm everything in the next 2 weeks. And I'll show you in the next episode what it looks like as we come up to final inspection. I'll show you what actually gets fixed. And then I'll give you an idea of what the proposals are coming in at. I'm still waiting for the outside contractor. I'm supposed to have the proposal today. I still don't have it for the fence I want to put around the property, the carport that I want to build off the top of the fence. I do a post up and over, and then like a little pergola area, so it's got like an outdoor living space. and then the concrete driveway and some of the other things that we're going to do. So I'm still waiting for that proposal. I've been after that guy to get it done. There was Holy Week last week, so they were off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. A lot of different holidays as part of the kind of Catholic celebration over here in particular. And so anyway, they're trying to get things cut up. Once I have all that information, I'll let you know in the next video. So I'll cut it here for today, but at least you get an idea where we're at, and I'll show you more in the next one. You guys take care.